Hey everybody, welcome back to the 12 Weeks of Christmas series. My name's Leslie. I am the founder of the Plaid Poodle. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I share fun ideas, projects, cards, home decor items made using stamps, paper, and ink. And if you stumbled upon me, this is my series, The 12 Weeks of Christmas, and we are on week number 4. Every week during this season, I will be um, putting out another wow project for the season. And today's project is no different. I'm very proud of it. I hope you enjoy it. Let's turn the camera around and we can get started on it. If you are not a subscriber to my mailing list, you might want to jump over to theplaidpoodle.com, and I'll also put a link down below the video because I am sending out links to the PDF instruction sheets each week for our projects. And when we are not in the 12 Weeks of Christmas, I send out a free tutorial with PDF and every Tuesday. So you don't want to miss one of those. So go on over to or click on the link below and sign up so you won't miss out on one of the projects. Today's project is this cute little Santa in the Chimney treat holder. We've got some Christmas lights hanging off the chimney, a gift, a candy cane, and then the Merry Christmas, and then his legs are sticking out of the chimney, and I just think it's adorable. You can put some little candies in there, put a little gift card in there, whatever you want. These would be awesome little coworker gifts, book club trinkets, hostess gifts, table place settings. Really fun idea, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Now, if you don't want the legs sticking up in the middle, I just thought that was a fun idea. You can also attach them just to the front of the chimney, and that'll give you more room for goodies. If you have more goodies and you don't want these legs in the way, you can adhere them to the front of the chimney, and I'll show you how to do that alternative as we go along. Okay, so step number 1, you need a piece of 8.5 by 3 3/4. This is real red. I love using real red for my Christmas projects. Real red and cherry cobbler are favorites of mine. And we are going to score it. This is what you call a 2, 4, 6, 8 box. And you'll see why here in a second. I'm going to extend the arm out. I'm going to use my scoring blade, and I'm going to score this on the 8.5 inch side at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches. That's going to leave a little 1/2 inch tab on the end, and then 4 2-inch sections. Then I'm going to flip it 90 degrees, and I'm going to score it at 1 1/4. And this is going to create our box. You'll see here, we're going to emboss this real quick, but I just want to fold on these score lines so you can kind of see what's happening here. These will be the bottom tabs of our box, and I'll show you how to assemble that real quick. But first I want to emboss it because we have this fun little embossing folder. It's called the Brick and Mortar 3D embossing folder. And I'm going to show you, this is longer than the 6 inches that our embossing folder is. I'm going to show you how to emboss the full length of it. So I'm going to stick this in here. I want my bricks to run horizontal on my chimney. So I don't want to stick it this way. I want to stick my cardstock in here, and I'm just going to line that up, and we're going to run it through real quick. Maybe I should pull this over here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. This is a 3D embossing folder, so I'm using plate number 4 if you have a Stampin' Up! Cut and emboss machine. You will have to determine your shims on your own machine if you do not have that. Okay, so I've got the brick. This is awkward because my machine is so big. Isn't that fantastic? So I'm just going to slip this in. I'm going to move the machine so you can see. I just need this part, and this, I probably will use this as my back panel. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not gonna be real apparent, but I'm gonna just kind of try and line it up. I'm not gonna be a perfectionist about it, if that makes sense. So this is the already embossed part, and this is the unembossed part, and then we're just gonna stick that back in our machine and finish embossing that strip of cardstock. Okay, so you can see I kind of stopped a little too early, but I'm not going to be concerned about that because, like I said, once I get this all ready to roll, that is going to be the back of my treat box, and it's not going to be real apparent. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and trim out the tabs. I'm going to grab my little paper snips. And this little 1/2-inch section over here on the end, it's 1/2 by 1 1/4. I'm going to cut that completely out. And then it's kind of hard with the bricks to see the score lines, but they're there. And then I like to kind of trim out my bottom tabs. It just helps me to make a more squared box, and it doesn't get as crowded with all these tabs when they're all folded in. It helps me if I just kind of trim a little bit off. You'll see right there. Okay. Now, this is the front of our box because this is the embossed side. I want those bricks to stick out. I don't want them to, you'll see there's the debossed side. I'm going to put on the right side some tear and tape adhesive. I like to use this for 3D projects because it is a very strong adhesive. Another one I would like to use for my 3D projects is multi-purpose liquid glue. You just want Stampin' Seal Plus. You just want to use something that is going to have a strong because you're going to put your candies or your treats, whatever, in here, and you want it to hold well. So there's our little box. Now we have the tabs. Now this is going to be the back of my box. So I like to have a clean fold on the front. So I like to save my front tab last. That's just a personal preference. So I'm going to apply some more tear and tape on this back tab. And we could have done that before we put our box together. When you download the PDF, it will show you exactly which tab to place your. But if you just remember to put the adhesive on the tab you want for the back of your box, so that when I fold my front fold in, I don't know, I just like to put the front flap I like to do that last so I have a nice crisp fold right there. Okay, there's the chimney. That's how easy that was. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you how to do is my little snow. I used a border die. Stampin' Up! Has these basic border dies. I use them all the time. These are workhorses in my craft room. They're stitched, and I'm using this one that kind of looks like clouds. I've used it for clouds before. And I'm taking an 11-inch piece by 1-inch piece of basic white, and I am going to use some washi tape. We're going to have to reinsert this into our die cutting machine as well, because the die is 6 inches and we have an 11-inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that next. So here's my first cut, and I came a little bit off the paper because I could just take my paper snips later and cut that, but since I have to run it through another time, I thought I'd start a little bit off the paper. So I'm going to cut that out. Okay, so now to continue on, it's not going to line up perfectly, and again, it's not going to really matter. It's a detail that won't be too noticeable, but I think we can do it pretty well that nobody is going to notice that it's not a continuous die. I'm going to pull this very gently off. All right, so I am going to just place my die. As you can see, it ends there, but if I try and line that up, see what it's going to do? So I'm just going to pull it a little forward. So here's where the first cut ended, and here's where this one's going to be, and I'm going to show you a little trick. Pull that a little closer, and I'm going to tape that really well. So I don't want it to move while I'm in there. I'm going to pull this up a little bit. All right, then I'm just going to put my top plate on my cutting machine to that point, and I'll show you what it ends up looking like. And yes, I know I need new plates. They are terrible. Okay, by inserting it in the machine with that top plate, it's going to look pretty fancy, I think. I think we did a good job here. It's kind of grasping right here, and I'm just going to take my paper snips and pull that, and then here. I evidently didn't roll it all the way through. So this is our snow for our chimney. It's got a little stitched pattern on it. I love that. And I'm going to start this in the back where my, this is where the paper met when we put our box together. And I'm just going to take some multi-purpose liquid glue and just put a little bit on the top, and then I'm going to just gently, can y'all see that? Bend around the corners. And then I'm going to use my fingers and kind of crease those corners as I go. And using that multi-purpose liquid glue, it gives us a little bit of a minute to adjust things. And then we'll go around this side. And I'm going to gently pinch that corner. And then our final side here. There you go. And then you will end up with a little extra. And I'm just going to take my paper snips and snip that off. Okay, and that's the back, so it won't matter that that doesn't fold over. If you wanted to, but then you'd have a double layer. You could fold one over and adhere the other, but to me, I'd rather have, once you get it all decorated, it's not really going to be noticeable. Okay, this is the front. That's the most important part, right? So now the next thing we want to do is our little Santa legs. I've got glue all over my hands, so hopefully everything won't stick to my fingers. For our Santa legs, I am going to have to grab my designer series paper and my window sheet. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about the pause. So for the legs, we need 4 strips. These are 1/2 inch by 3.5 inch, and I'm using the Sweetest Christmas Designer Series paper for my project. And then you need 2 strips of window sheet, and these are 1/2 by 4 3/8, and then score them at 3/4 inches. So I cut them and then made a little score mark there so they can fold over. That's how they will stand up in our little chimney after we cover them with the designer series paper. Then you'll also need, for the cuffs of his legs, 4 strips of white glimmer paper. These are 1/2 by 5/8 inch, and then I've cut for his boots a 1 inch. This is about a 1 inch wide heart. I used the largest heart from the Give It a Whirl dies that Stampin' Up! Carries, but you may have something else that you could use, or you could just cut one freehand, because you just need 2 of them, and I'll show you how to turn those hearts into boots. You can kind of see it's just a sideways heart now that you know what it is. Okay, I like the tear and tape again for this part of the project. I'm just going to put a strip on each piece of designer series paper. And we're just going to adhere these to the window sheets. I think some Stampin' Seal Plus would work well with this, and even your multi-purpose liquid glue would work, but it would take a minute to dry. So I just kind of like to use this Stampin' Seal Plus. My dogs are getting into a little feistiness over here. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to put a strip of this on our window sheet. You could probably use some thick cardstock as well, but I like the window sheet because it won't show, if that makes sense. If our designer series paper isn't on here perfectly, it's just kind of indivisible. And I like that. So there's our one little leg. And Santa's been on a diet, because you know what I thought when I made these? I thought, do I do a 1/2 inch? Those look kind of skinny. But we need to leave room for our treats, right? So Santa's been on a diet and he's got some skinny little legs sticking out of the chimney. Okay, we're almost done with these. I wanted to pull up the whole situation there. Okay, so there's our Santa legs. Now we're going to put his boots on. So when he's climbing down the chimney, we want his boots to go opposite. So that kind of helps me if I put them side by side when I adhere the little hearts to the legs. They're going to look weird until we put the cuffs on. See how that looks? It looks a little weird because it's got that little curve. But once we put the cuffs on, it will look fine. Nobody will know that these are hearts. Sideways hearts. There we go. Now we're going to add our cuffs. I apologize for my dogs getting feisty in the background. I have a playful pup, and then I have another little pup that she doesn't want to have anything to do with the other one. So the other one started trying to get the one to play. I'm hoping I don't have to stall the video and let them outside. I should have put them in their little area. We don't really kennel them, but they have their own little room in my closet that they like. Their beds and everything. Okay, so there's our little boots. Now, to put them in the bottom of the, I'm going to use the tear and tape one more time, just because I know it will hold really well. I'm going to put 2 pieces on those folds. Woo, hopping all around. Making sure it doesn't matter which direction. We just have to make sure when we put them in there, our boots look right. Okay. So, I'm going to take this paper off. We're going to put this one over here, and sometimes it helps to use your little bone boulder. And I kind of put it in the middle. Like I said, if you wanted to just put your legs just stuck to the front, that's good too. I just did this as a little extra. You'd have more room for your treats. You could just put adhere your legs, and they wouldn't have to be as long in that case because you're just adhering them to the side of the inside of the box. So, and you wouldn't probably need the window sheet. I probably would adhere the DSP to maybe some cardstock just to give it a little extra stability. I'm noticing this cuff kind of slid. I'm going to try and, it's not quite dry yet, I'm going to try and trim off some of that designer series paper so you can't see that. There we go. That looks much better. Okay. There we go. Okay. There he is. See, he's got those legs just wiggling in there. Now, if you put some filler in there with your treats, well, once you get your treats in there, it's going to hold them a little bit more stable, but that's kind of fun, isn't it? But once you put your filler in, like I have this retired silver foil filler from Stampin' Up. You can kind of direct how you want your feet to, or your legs to go. But I kind of like that. Okay, then the last step is just embellishing the front. And what I've used is some dies from the Spruced Up bundle. I have been using this to death this Christmas, but I'm using the little Christmas lights die, and I've went ahead and cut that already. Let's just dump it all out. I went ahead and did all the die cutting, so you wouldn't have to watch me do all that. Okay, so I cut out this out of basic white, and then I colored it with some Stampin' Write markers, and everything I used will be listed on the PDF. Then I stamped and die cut out a candy cane. I die cut out 2 of the present or the gift box dies. I used 2 of them. One out of Garden Green, that's the outline, and then one out of some Coordinating Designer Series paper, The Sweetest Christmas. And I'm only going to use the inside to kind of put inside that outline, so I can save this for another project or pitch it. So, and then the Christmas, Merry Christmas. We have a new stamp set coming out in November. So this tutorial is coming out a week early to get this set, but I loved this Merry Christmas stamp and it worked perfectly with my project. So I am going to stamp that on a piece of, I believe it's 5/8. Let me look at my sheet. It is 3/8 by 2.5. Very skinny, skinny, skinny. And this is a red rubber cling stamp. I'll try and do this without getting my head in the way, but I already stamped it, so in case I mess up on this one, that's pretty good. And then the candy cane, I did that in the Real Red ink. On a little scrap of paper. And then I die cut them out. So here's my candy cane. Here's my little string of lights I colored with the Stampin' Write markers. And then here's my tag. I just flagged the end, and I can show you how I do that pretty quickly. Just to flag the end, you go down the center and then come in on both sides. And that gives you a little banner. I've got glue on my scissors so it doesn't like it. There we go. It just makes a little banner out of your sentiment tag. So I had already done that. So I'm just going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue and just very lightly add some adhesive. It won't take much to hold this in place. And I kind of propped that gift on the corner here. And then we're going to just put the centers in. I think I might use my tweezers for that. Sometimes these smaller pieces, it's a little easier. So there's our little gift wrapped gift. Santa forgot it outside on the roof. And then the little Christmas lights. I just love this die. It reminds me of Christmas Vacation with Clark Griswold and Chevy Chase. It's just so fun. So I'm going to just stack that right here. They're kind of falling off the edge. Santa might have knocked them off while he was climbing down the chimney. And then the little candy cane. I did take a little tiny strip of my Stampin' Dimensionals. I just cut off the edge. These are mini Stampin' Dimensionals, a sheet of them. I just cut the tiniest little strip to, whoops, prop that candy cane up a little bit. And then the last thing I did was I took a bone folder and curled that tag. I'm going to curl it under, and then I'm going to curl it again on the end. So it looks like it's kind of blowing in the wind. And I'm going to, I think I might trim just a tiny bit off, because I'm going to try and hide it behind that, that candy cane. There we go. Maybe just a little bit more even. I should have put my tag on before my candy cane. I think I'm going to pull that up just a little bit. Kind of put my tag under there how I want it. There we go. And I'm going to kind of curl that a little bit more. And that is the treat box. So it's really fun. I used a lot of products on this. You don't have to use as many products as I used. I had them, so why not? I love the brick and mortar embossing folder. It makes it look like a real brick fireplace or chimney. You could, instead of using the die that I used, the border die, you could just hand cut that out, or just put a strip of white, or even glue some, I got a little adhesive on there, little cotton balls or something to look like snow. I think that would be cute too. But I just think that is the funnest little project. I'm going to go ahead and put some of my filler in here. That always makes it look nice. I'll put treats in there later once I decide what I'm going to do with these. I hope you are enjoying the 12 Days of Christmas series. I will be back next week with another project, and I look forward to seeing you. Don't forget that I do live tutorials on Mondays and Wednesdays at 2 p.m. I have Make It Monday at 2 on Facebook, and I have Coffee and a Card at 2 p.m. Central on Facebook as well. Those are live on Facebook. You can always watch the replays over on YouTube if you are not on Facebook. So make sure to check those out and subscribe to my channel. We will talk to you soon. Happy stamping.